In extreme sports, there's a point where excitement turns into sheer terror. For many, that point is in skydiving or big wave surfing. For a few, it's cave diving. Unlike open water diving, where a quick ascent takes you to the surface, cave divers find themselves trapped under tons of rock. There's no way up. If your flashlight fails, if you lose the guideline, or if panic sets in, you're stuck in complete darkness. One mistake can ruin everything. It can be fatal. Today, we explore the dark, claustrophobic world of underwater caves and uncover some of the most tragic incidents in history where skilled professionals face their worst fears. This is Michael's Rift, a channel where we take you through the depths of the most horrific, terrifying, and deadly events in human history. Subscribe now for more weekly documentaries. Our first story takes us to the freezing depths of northern Norway. In the Plura Cave system, it is a stunning place with crystal clear water that chills to 39 degrees Fahrenheit. In February 2014, 5 experienced Finnish technical divers entered the cave. They had a bold plan to dive through a hole in the ice at the Plura side, go over 360 feet down, navigate a narrow, jagged tunnel, and exit through a dry chamber miles away. They understood the risks. At these depths, the body begins to break down. Pressure causes nitrogen to dissolve into the bloodstream, leading to a state called nitrogen narcosis. It feels like being drunk, which slows reaction times and clouds judgment. The 5 divers split into 2 groups. The first group of 2 led the way, with the second group of 3 following closely. For the initial hours, everything went smoothly. The water was calm, and their powerful dive lights cut through the darkness. But when the lead group reached the deepest, narrowest part of the cave, disaster struck. One diver became severely entangled in a line connected to his underwater scooter. In the icy tunnel, every movement was a struggle. As he fought to free himself, his breathing sped up. Under pressure and stress, the body produces a large amount of carbon dioxide. The diver fell quickly into severe hypercapnia. Within moments, panic set in. His regulator slipped away, and he drowned, his body blocking the narrow passage. His dive partner tried to save him, but it was too much. The second diver's equipment failed, and he also drowned alongside his friend. The 3 remaining divers from the second group arrived to find a horrific scene, their friends' lifeless bodies blocking the only way forward. They were trapped at the bottom of the cave. Turning back would mean enduring long, grueling decompression stops in freezing water, knowing their air supplies were dangerously low. With no other choice, they carefully maneuvered past their friends' bodies in complete darkness, fighting their own panic. They survived, but the psychological scars lasted forever. Months later, after the Norwegian government declared a recovery mission too risky, the survivors secretly returned to the cave, putting their lives on the line again to recover their friends' bodies. From the chilly waters of Norway, we move to the heat of South Africa, to a location known as Boesmansgat, or Bushman's Hole. This is one of the deepest freshwater sinkholes on Earth, plunging over 900 feet deep. In 1994, a young diver named Dion Dreyer lost consciousness and drowned at a depth of 860 feet. For a decade, his body remained at the bottom, preserved by extreme pressure and near freezing temperatures. Enter Dave Shaw, a legendary technical diver known for pushing the limits of human endurance. While dabbling at Boesmansgat in 2004, Shaw unexpectedly spotted Dreyer's body on the silt floor. He promised to return and bring the young man home. In January 2005, Shaw assembled an elite support team for the recovery mission. Every moment of the dive was recorded by a camera on Shaw's helmet. He descended into the abyss, taking over 11 minutes to reach the bottom. At 900 feet, the air becomes so dense that it feels like inhaling honey. Shaw found Dreyer's body and started the tough task of placing it into a body bag. But as he worked, the cave line became hopelessly tangled around the corpse and Shaw's equipment. The physical effort made Shaw's breathing increase sharply. The helmet camera shows his hands shaking as he grapples with the lines. The carbon dioxide buildup happened too quickly for his rebreather to manage. Minutes later, the camera captures Shaw's movements slowing until they stop. He blacked out and drowned, right next to the man he came to save. Tragically, this happened just a few hundred feet below his support team, who could do nothing to help. 4 days later, as the rescue team pulled up the guidelines, both Shaw's and Dreyer's bodies floated to the surface together, entwined by the very lines that caused the tragedy. Our third incident takes us to the warm waters of the Maldives in May 2026, a recent tragedy. A group of 5 Italian divers, all elite marine researchers, ecologists, and expert instructors, set out to explore a deep cavern system off the Vavu Atoll called the Devanakandu, or Shark Cave. The cave entrance is nearly 200 feet down along a sheer underwater cliff. While the team was well educated and experienced, they made one critical mistake before entering the water. They chose to dive using standard, open-circuit scuba tanks instead of special gas mixtures like Trimix. As they entered the cavern, a sudden, powerful current pushed them deeper into the rocky maze. In the darkness, they quickly became lost. The depth meant they consumed air at about 6 times the rate compared to the surface. Combined with severe nitrogen narcosis, the divers lost track of time and their exit. They scrambled through the dark tunnels, but their pressure gauges hit 0. None of the 5 researchers resurfaced. The tragedy continued during a massive recovery effort. A local military search diver became trapped in the unpredictable currents, ran out of air, and became the disaster's 6th victim. To understand how easily a paradise can transform into a tomb, we must examine the phenomenon of a total silt-out. The floor of caves, like the Devanakandu, is lined with thousands of years of accumulated dust, a substance so fine it resembles flour. When a lost diver panics, their kicking fins inevitably strike down the bottom. Instantly, the water turns from crystal clear to a dense, opaque, gray cloud. Your powerful dive lights become completely useless, merely reflecting off the swirling particles like high beams in a thick midnight fog. It is in this exact moment, blinded and disoriented, that the human mind begins to unravel, and minutes feel like seconds as the pressure gauge ticks down towards 0. For our final, unfortunate series of events, we look at Eagle Nest Cave in Florida, often called the Mount Everest of cave diving. At the surface, it appears as a calm, muddy pond hidden in the woods, but beneath, a massive network of tunnels drops over 300 feet deep. At the cave entrance, there's a permanent underwater sign showing a graphic of the Grim Reaper, warning that entering without proper training means certain death. In 2006, 2 skilled brothers, Chris and Michael Weaver, decided to challenge this notorious cave. They descended into the Super Room, an enormous cavern where even powerful dive lights failed to reach the walls, creating a sensation of floating in space. This lack of visual boundaries proved fatal. Disoriented by the vastness of the room, the brothers lost sight of their navigation lines. In the dark, nitrogen narcosis affected their judgment, making it hard to realize how deep they had fallen. By the time they had found the exit tunnel, they had exceeded their time limit. Their air supplies were gone. Both brothers ran out of air, just short of safety, drowning side by side in the cavern. The structural trap of Eagle Nest lies in its psychological trickery. The massive rooms feel open, giving a false sense of security that mimics the freedom of the open ocean. But this vastness is an illusion. When the silt is disturbed or the lights fail, that open space transforms into an unmappable void where up and down cease to exist. The Weaver brothers were highly disciplined, yet they fell victim to the absolute law of the cave. The environment does not offer second chances, and it does not accommodate a single moment of miscalculation. These tragedies remind us of a harsh reality. Underwater caves are a world of sheer indifference to human life. They don't care about your experience, bravery, or equipment. In the dark, under solid stone, the rules of survival are strict. Break them once, and the cave will keep you forever. This has been another short-form documentary of Michael's Rift. Here we cover multiple tragedies within a single video for you to listen to while studying, sleeping, or on a long drive home. If you like these videos, subscribe now and hit that notification bell to make sure you never miss another weekly installment concerning worldwide tragedies.